Welcome to your mock flip lesson. This is your pre-activity which will tell you what to do before you get back to the classroom. So first of all, I want you to pretend that you are at home busy doing your homework, or shall we rather call it classwork. You are going to learn quite a few concepts. The first one is, what is a flipped classroom? So at the end of this, you have to be able to explain to me what a flipped classroom is. There are lots of resources in your resource folder that will help you to understand what a flipped classroom is. You only have 20 minutes, so set your timer for 20 minutes. Right, so let's look at what a flipped classroom is, and I'm just going to give you a quick explanation. You can pause me if you want to go over it again. Now, in a traditional classroom, what you do is you explain by writing on the board, and usually you run out of time, and the poor student that didn't understand what you were explaining can be quite lost. At the end of the lesson, you give your learners their homework and off they go to home to do their homework. When they get it to home, they can't do their homework because they missed out on some of the concepts, whatever reason. But now they're struggling. They're sitting there on their own. Sometimes they don't have parents that can help them. Well, the result is that they cannot complete their homework successfully. The next day they get back to class and you are very angry at them because they haven't completed their homework. Does this sound familiar? Okay, so let's look at a flipped classroom situation. In this scenario, what you do is you give them a recording of what you would have explained in the classroom. Okay, and don't worry that you have got to spend a lot of time for actually making a video or a resource. There are lots and lots of videos on the internet that you can use. So they can learn the concept at home, and if they get stuck, they can rewind and watch it again till they understand. By the time, so the important thing to remember here is that you've got to give them some guiding questions so that they don't just sit there passively watching the explanation, but that they actually have got little bits of things to do in between that will keep their attention as well, and some guiding questions. Right, so when they come into the classroom the following day, they've now watched the video, they have made sure that they understand the concept. So now all they have to do in the classroom is to actually practice what they have learned. Okay, you will give them an exercise and they will practice what they have learned. Isn't that a much better idea? They will have their peers there to help them. They will have you there to help them. They get stuck, they can ask for your help immediately. Right, so come on, let's look at some examples that we can use. Right, one of the examples, I'm a math teacher, so I'm going to just use a math example, is as a pre-class activity, you're teaching about quadratic equations. There are tons of explanations on quadratic equations on the internet. And one of the good ones is from Khan Academy. And there's even a Kosa version available. So the learner goes home, watch the video with various levels of difficulty within the example, and they can rewind if they get stuck. And when they get into the classroom, they sit down and you give them examples to do. So the activities. And they practice the quadratic equations. If they get stuck, you are there to help them, or their peers are there to help them. And there's another example for life sciences as well. So there you don't even need technology. We mustn't always think that we have to have technology. Giving learners things to read and work through before they come to class will work just as well. This brings me to the lesson plan that you will be creating when you come into the classroom. But don't worry, don't have to be scared. You will have all of us there to help you. So I want you to now, and you can actually click on it on your screen, open up the document which is in your Module 6 resource folder, 50 things everyone should know how to do. For instance, how to make a fire. Um, there's a whole lot of examples, but what I want you to think about when you read that article is what would you want your learners to learn, a life skill that you think would be most important and that would help them so much in their future life. And this brings us to our last moment of our preparation for our pre-activity. I want you to open up the mock flip lesson plan. You can click on it on your screen. It should open. Otherwise, you can find it in your Module 6 resource folder. And there is the mock flip lesson plan for today's session. I have actually completed my own lesson plan so that you can see how I've planned all of this. While you're reading it, I want you to ask yourself, is it a good lesson plan? Come on, guys, be honest. I won't be cross if you think that there's some serious problems there. Does it adequately explain what the flipped classroom is? And can I work